What if I told you that the one, the only Anderson the Spider Silva, one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time, tried to unalive his own head coach back in the day? I did not stutter. This was a fact. Anderson Silva tried to unalive his former head coach in what some people might say a very petty reason. This was before Anderson's UFC career, so he had not made a name for himself in the world of MMA. His former head coach, Rafael Cordeiro, was the man in charge of Anderson Silva's whole fight camp, but now he is most famously known for training Mike Tyson for his fights. So here's where the story begins. In a certain period of financial difficulty, Anderson Silva was making his living teaching jiu-jitsu classes, and Rafael Cordeiro, Chutabox's head coach, at that time didn't want him to continue. They had a heated argument in which Anderson was slapped on the face. Afterwards, Anderson went to a place where Cordeiro was accompanied by two guys and held a pew-pew, we'll say a double barrel, while he was waiting for the coach to return. His two companions apparently lost their nerve, and they talked Anderson out of the action, making him control himself and give up on his intent. Thankfully, no shots were fired, no one got hurt, no one got unalived, and everything turned out okay. Now, the only reason why this story made it to the light of day was because this was all written in Anderson Silva's autobiography, a book called King of the Octagon, written by Fabricio Salas. Today, Anderson and Rafael are great friends, and the UFC champion even trains with the Masters sometimes when he's even in Los Angeles, and it's told that Anderson's son didn't even know about this and learned about this entire story on the internet later. Now I know what you're thinking. How can one of the nicest guys in UFC history be capable of going to this extreme and potentially unaliving not only somebody, but his own head coach, a guy that took him under his wing, a guy that was teaching him the ins and outs of not only jiu-jitsu but MMA? According to Anderson, this was all 100% true. Summarizing the book, he explained, the biography says the truth of everything that happened since my childhood until this very moment. It documents day-to-day frustrations, what is good, what is bad, and how it is bad to stay away from the family. The book tells my life, Anderson says. Again, this whole thing happened before Anderson's UFC career. And I guess that's what makes this even more funny than what it already is. Like, it's funny because that nobody got hurt, not a single shot was fired, like I said. But the fact that, A, he's the nicest guy in UFC history, especially at the time he was champion. He was beloved by so many, not only for his fighting skills, but his personality and the way he carried himself outside the octagon. But also, he was never in a fight that involved trash talk, aside from the Chael Sonnen fight. All his other title defenses and title fights before that, a lot of people met him with respect, with fear, with honor, with dignity, because they thought, wow, that is Anderson Silva. He is basically MMA God, MMA Jesus, because he was the greatest fighter we've seen at that time, all the time. Every time he stepped in the octagon, he showed us new tricks that no one has ever seen. So the fact that this man was capable of doing this extreme act is absolutely insane. Now, of course, you push someone to a level, they're going to do things unimaginable. And also, he wasn't at the level that he was at the time he was UFC champion. He was still on his way up. I think he only had a few fights left in his pro career before he got into the UFC. So this was all very early in his career. He did not have the financial stability that he once had. And hey, who's to say that maybe this could have been handled a different way? Maybe Anderson could have definitely said, you know what, Rafael, you and me, we're fighting. Meet me at the gym in an hour. We're fighting about this because I need money. Are you going to pay for my bills? But I'm pretty sure, like it says in the article that was published a long time ago, it's all water under the bridge. And they're boys now. But still, just to think that Anderson was ready to catch a body, that is wild.
Bodies, 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 bodies!